Okay, this is Monsterhearts 2, Mercy Falls 83. Lots of numbers in there, huh? Twos and eights and threes. This is actually session 2. We were scheduled for, this is supposed to be session 3, but I had to cancel last week because of some personal stuff. And so we're doing session 2 tonight. I'm going to mute you here. And we're doing session 2 tonight, and then we have done we're doing a makeup session on the 24th, which is the day before Thanksgiving, which is not a great day for a lot of people I know, but I'm not doing anything for Thanksgiving, so I'm going to be there. And I don't think they're doing Thanksgiving in Australia and Canada, so and Germany, so I think most of us are good. But you are all welcome to join us on the 24th. If you are not going to be able to, just let me know at some point during the session so that we can kind of give your character a little epilogue and help you stick the landing a little bit with your character. I'm going to speed through cats. All right, so Monsterhearts, I'm not going to explain Monsterhearts. I assume you know what it is. But this is our Mercy Falls setting in 1983. You don't need to know anything about Mercy Falls to play in this, but it does have direct connections to previous Mercy Falls things we've done. But it's not necessary at all to know anything about that in order to play. It is 1983. And we're going for, our frame is a Breakfast Club frame. That's a movie from the 80s. And so we didn't do a homeroom seating chart. We did a weekend detention seating chart. So every character has detention for the weekend. And we're going to talk about that seating chart in just a minute of how we're going to fit the new players in. But that's what we're doing. Today, we're going to introduce the returning characters or the session 1 characters, and introduce the brand new characters, do strings for them, or backstory. And then I'll briefly recap a little bit that we've done, and then we'll get going. Tone is going to be, I would like to really hit like teen drama, romance. I think would be interesting if you guys could pull that off. I think this is going to be a closer story than we normally tell in Monsterhearts, just because it's very few of you kind of all like crammed together in a space for a day. There might be some there will be dark and horror elements just because it's unavoidable. It's Monsterhearts. But until those things put pressure on us, I would like for it to be kind of like a really, really just kind of revel in the fact that these are kids, right? They're teenagers. So teenage drama, right? Let's shoot for that. Subject matter wise, we'll have the X card on the table, and you can just type it in the chat or just do this or say X card. If something happens that you're not cool with, I will just put a hard line on sexual assault. That's something I don't like in my games. I'm also not a huge fan of torturing kids or animals. So those are my personal lines. If you guys have any lines you want to throw out there, throw them out there right now. Otherwise, X cards on the table. All right.
I think, the only one I have is the continuation from last time, which is incest.
Right, yeah. Particularly problem. It could be a particular problem for your character for sure.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Okay then. So let's talk about returning characters. So I just want to do the elevator pitch on the 3 returning characters, if we could. Lauren, would you just give us the elevator pitch on Adeline here?
Yes, she comes from a very controlling family, but she just kind of wants to be a kid and have human experiences because her family are actually snakes. And her family consists mostly of women. One in particular comes to mind is Genevieve, who is actually half snake, half person. So they could sort of keep her locked up in the Egyptian palace, which is the hotel / bar / establishment that her family owns and lives in. And shy and isn't quite comfortable with being human and doesn't feel great in her own skin.
So sort of the key words for me for your character are, and let me know if I have this right, feeling human, discovering what it means to be human. You're around these snake people all day, and you're fairly new to the community too. So you've lately just been with your snake family, right? So that's awesome. Cool. I don't have any other questions. People, I'm kind of speeding through this, so just jump in and interrupt me if you guys have any other follow-up questions. Philip, tell us about Adam, please.
Adam is the Hollow. He was a child his parents wished for, but they didn't get what they wanted. He's terrible at gender performance. He's terrible at performing as a human. So there's a lot of awkwardness to him, and yeah, he tries to do the right thing when it comes to being human, and he's doing mediocre at it.
Yeah, and we got to see what I thought was a very, very sad scene with your family last time, where we learned that like you and your parents have like no recognizable relationship. Like it's this they clearly don't understand you, and you have never bonded with them, and it was just kind of like tragic. A little sad. On the other hand, Fraser tells about Fall, who has like the best family.
Yeah, Fall is a Sasquatch playbook. He's awkward, autumnal, has forgettable eyes, and always wears glasses on, but nobody seems to care. So he looks like the cool kid, except that he is deleted from memory. He has a good home life. His parents are rangers that live on like some kind of national park area close to Mercy Falls, if not in it, wherever that is. It's sort of nebulous. And yeah, they love him and adopted him, but he is not aware of it. The only person that is aware of it is in this classroom, Heather.
Awesome. And is it Heather? I thought it was Becky. Did I have that wrong?
Oh, maybe.
I think it was Becky.
Oh, Heather is the one who knows about my sneaky ancestry.
Right. Yeah. Heather knows about the snakes, and Becky knows about the Sasquatches.
Awesome.
Yeah, and we just cut on me awkwardly complimenting your glasses after I kind of bullied you to get to you.
Sunglasses, to be clear, right? Not regular glasses. Yeah. You both said regular glasses. So. Awesome. Great. And you have a very strong and powerful smell. So.
Oh yeah. If I sweat and you smell me, you might like it a little too much.
Awesome. Okay, good. Now let's spend some time learning about our brand new characters. Garrett, please tell us about Julia.
I am Julia tonight, and I'm a little bit in the dark because I can. I also prefer to pronounce my playbook I chose in the German manner, which is Wurm, because I can. Because the Wurm is all about power and taking control about others. And I'm very much looking forward to use the bargaining ceremony with one of you. And because you need smoke for that, it was an obvious choice that I smoke cigarettes. But I smoke black cigarettes because I can. And I haven't thought a lot about my parents recently because I can afford. They are academics. They're not interested in me, and nor am I in them a lot. That's pretty much you need to know about me at the moment. I have to make very important decisions tonight, which is like who of you is a treasure to me and who is merely currency.
What's your collection of your objects that you keep?
I wanted to have something which I can carry around with me. Not that I couldn't have something bigger or larger or more prominent, but just because it's more convenient, and I can. It's a collection of smells, like of scents, and they are on tissues in little capsules. And if somebody is interested in having a look, I am very sure everybody will find something which they would consider as valuable to them. But let's see how that turns out.
How long has your family lived in Mercy Falls? Let me tell you about Mercy Falls too, in case you don't know. Mercy Falls, Washington is it's in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. It used to be an old camp town on the Oregon Trail. And now its two principal industries are tourism. There's a great big fancy lodge hotel, and as well as the Egyptian palace hotel and bar, which is not nearly as fancy, as well as lumber. Like lumber processing is their other major industry. The town is mainly just there's just like a central sort of like main street that has like most of the businesses, and then the neighborhoods are kind of like in just little clusters up and down the hills of this town, right? It's kind of a mountainous region, and lots of big trees. And so like they're just kind of clustered off in little cul-de-sacs, right, of maybe 5 or 6 houses each, right? You can't walk anywhere. You can walk, well, you can kind of walk from like certain neighborhoods to the main drag area where the school is, but for the most part, you need rides everywhere because things are spread out just a little bit. And the woods are a really big deal. Historically, lots of strange things have always occurred in the forest surrounding Mercy Falls. So much so that like older people in Mercy Falls, like actually, they anthropomorphize the woods. Like to them, like the forest has a personality. It often gets angry. It gets, to quote characters, it gets fussy, and bad things happen. So those are the basics of the town. So I guess my question then for you, Julia, is how long have you and your family lived in Mercy Falls?
I would consider, because we consider ourselves as intellectuals.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say the way you describe Merciful, to me, it sounds like you already count as intellectual when you're teachers.
Right.
It's that kind of town,
it's a pretty
right?
Simple town.
That's the definition of rural, when teachers are intellectuals. It's a very simple and precise definition, I would say. And so I consider them to be teachers, and they might have been moved there if they are at a public school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do they teach at the high school?
Right.
Do they teach at the high school? Do they teach at the high school where you go to school?
I would prefer not, if they're not, but I assume there's no other way around that. So yes, they do.
Good. Awesome. And then your wormness, your dragonness is this just like an affect of personality, or are you actually like dragon, like, biologically speaking?
I don't mind, because I can. So I have built up this second kind of persona around me. And at this moment, I don't know yet anymore what is true and what is just my part of teenage identity.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it's still in the unclear for me as well, what I am.
All right, good, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions for Garrett about Julia? All right, then Tomer, please tell us about Zacharonis. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Yeah, Zacharonis. So Zacharonis is a ghoul, and that just means killed at some point in the past, right? Or, from...
They're dead at some point.
Yeah, they've been dead. So, and I say they because really Zacharonis is a construct. Mm-hmm. So about 4 different individuals that have been put together, kind of Frankenstein monster style. All 4 of those individuals are either geeks or outcasts or somebody who was murdered sometime in the recent past. And I think Zacharonis's or Zach's father is I want to say one of those kind of like mad scientists kind of characters. So I called him Dr. Stein. Sure, in the little thing, Stranger Things has been recent, so I just grabbed that one.
Okay.
But I think the relationship between them isn't necessarily very good. I mean, Dr. Stein just kind of doesn't really act so much like a dad, but more like, treats Zach a little bit like a creation half the time. And even has to speak, the relationship isn't very well, loving, obviously. Like maybe Dr. Stein even has something to do with where the parts came from. I'm not sure, or we're not sure.
Interesting. Like, you think
So,
Dr. Stein may have like killed these kids to make?
it's hard to say. Probably not, because I have
Okay.
memories of some of the deaths, and the deaths were a lot of times due to different kinds of bullies or other individuals. But maybe, Dr. Stein just feels a little suspicious. So I'm not 100% sure, how he acquired the parts. Let's put it that way. So maybe not 100% responsible, really, but my best interest may not be what he's about.
Good. What are your hungers?
So my hunger is fear, because all of these kids were killed by while being bullied. So they were all kind of like fear part of that, a big part of that interaction. And I think they want to, well, so one of my hungers is also, I kind of chose what the right hand wants, which is where you have another hunger, right? And I think the other hunger is kind of like revenge. And so maybe this combination of getting revenge on those who were responsible, but also instilling fear in them, that kind of thing.
So it's not that. So your hunger is not that you want to be afraid. It's that you want to instill fear in people.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and yeah, and also I want to feel that fear, because like it's
so
such a part of me that maybe I enjoy it or something. I don't know.
No, I love it. That's great. I just wanted to clarify that. That's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So, are you a bully, or you were bullied?
I was bullied. Right now, I think I'm a little bit, maybe I kind of come off as having some power, but it's not like I'm a force to be reckoned with or something. I just feel like unusual or weird, or there's like this look of maybe hunger in the eyes, or
how do you dress?
But
what do you look like? Like in terms of when you go to school every day, how do you dress?
A little bit of probably like a hodgepodge. Like every day there's like a different combination of things, and they don't all make sense. So sometimes it'll be maybe like a blouse that I used to wear as Sharona, but then like Aku's and like Zed's jeans or something. So like I'm a combination of these four kids, and I kind of like just take different pieces of their clothes and wear them in different combinations every day.
I see. So your name is actually a combination of these four kids' names.
Right.
Got it. Zed, Akuji,
yes.
Sharona, and Silas gives us Sakuronis. Got it.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay, good. Let's do backstory on Julia and Zakuronis. Julia, you have a decision to make here. Who do you consider to be a treasure, and who do you consider to be mere currency?
Adam is definitely a treasure to me.
Okay.
Yes, and I would say everybody else is mere currency.
Okay. Very good. Why is Adam a treasure?
Because of his haircut.
Okay, it's good. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a perfect teenager reason. I love it.
Yeah. It's just like, if you have such a haircut, come on. I mean, then you're the strongest and coolest and best personality in school. Well, douchebag, and I will find out.
Good. So it sounds like then you get, Adam gets a string on you, and you get a string on everyone else. So.
Yes, and everybody has to come up with something mean I said to them.
Oh, is that on the sheet? They have to say like why?
So we can skip that to get more into the session, and we find other things mean to say. I'm pretty sure I'm able to do that. But if you have something in mind.
Well, what is it? I mean, what does the backstory say? Just read it off.
Ask each one to tell something mean you said to them. Gain a string on each of them.
Mm.
Yeah. Let it officially
I want to
says.
hear it. I want to know at the outset what
Yes.
Julia said that was mean to you, each of you. Whoever's got their mean thing Julia said, throw it out there.
Ooh.
Is Julia really
Oh.
popular?
Nobody would dare to say something that I'm unpopular, I think. Maybe that makes me popular. Yeah.
I have an idea. So we established last time that someone, my character wore black to school one day, and someone called me Wednesday Addams, and ever since then that stuck, even though I don't wear a lot of black. So maybe you were the one
Oh, nice.
who began Wednesday Addams.
Yes, that was the case. Yeah, I remember the day. It was actually a good idea.
Awesome. Fall, what did Julia say to you?
Maybe Julia helped like erase me. Like I like the idea of maybe I had my hand up in class when I was like a sophomore. That's I don't know how states goes. Okay, the first grade one, grade 7 is however it works. The first grade of high school.
A freshman, ninth grade.
Sure, yeah. I was wearing my glasses and I raised my hand, and it took the teacher like a really long time to notice me and call on me. And when they did, you said something like, who even is that? Like that kind of thing. And from that it sort of set the tone for the rest of high school, where everybody just kept like keeping me on the peripheral and deleting me.
I was really surprised that it wasn't meant to be an insult.
Zach, what did Julia say that was mean to you?
I think maybe my first day to school form, after I was together, she kind of looked at me and was like, ready, like kind of like that, people had done over it, and there was maybe this kind of dismissal. And so maybe I'm trying to figure out, like, at that point, it kind of not so much made me a wallflower, but like shuttered me over to the corner, like nobody really cared. Maybe there were people who were curious about me or whatever, but now it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, forget about this. It's the same old geeks and outcasts and whatever.
Julia's terrible, boy. All right. Okie doke. All right then, Zach, what are your backstory things? And then Garrett, you'll want to just note all your strings there on the sheet as well. Okay, so Zach, are you ready to do backstory?
Yeah. So, sorry, with the strings with Julia, was that something we were supposed to get a string?
You don't know. No, Julia gets strings
Okay.
on you. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Strings is new for me, so I'll try to keep up. So I've got 2 backstory things. One is someone reminded you what love was when you thought that death had stolen it away from you forever.
It's pretty intense.
Yeah. I'm going to throw, like, I'm guessing all you guys know which kids I'm kind of from. Maybe? What do you think?
Sure.
So I'm going to throw these guys in the chat. There was like 4 of them, right? I kind of gave them little personalities.
Yeah. Well, if that like is something like what happened to you, was it like a big deal for the town? Like, like did it become a very big public, like shameful thing that the town experienced and went through and all that kind of stuff? Or was it like swept under the rug and nobody really knew about it or remembers, etc.?
Like the missing kids? or the
Yeah.
murdered kids. I think it's
Yeah.
probably like kind of swept under the rug, or maybe there was like a search party for one and they went missing, and I was like, whatever. And I think
You should know this is like very Mercy Falls, right? Like
Right.
bad shit happens to people and the town just moves on like it didn't
Right.
happen, right? That's canon. So yeah, sorry, just want to throw that in there.
Sure. And so like these kids, I think people can probably guess that parts of me are from these kids, or I don't know if the town really knows or cares, and some of it might have been, a year ago, or this kid that disappeared 2 years ago, or I don't know what,
Gotcha.
Tommy, you're breaking up every night just a little bit.
You know what? I just realized, I'm on a VPN. I'll reconnect real quick.
Okay.
Oh, you're on a VPN? Yeah, that will do it.
What does that mean?
Like it's a service that protects your IP, so it routes you through like everywhere in the world, basically, so people don't know where you are.
Oh.
Yeah.
All
It
around the globe.
lowers. Yeah.
I could imagine having from all these kids still a tissue with their scent.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe also something unidentifiable, which is then the starting point of Zach's creation.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Adeland was even here for this. Like, I want to know if this happened pre or post.
Yeah, I think you might have
arriving.
to have missed all that, Addie, right? Because we've established that you're fairly new to town. I mean, I think
exactly.
you being new to town is kind of an important part of your character. Zach, Julia brought up the idea that Julia might have the scents of your 4 original people in her little collection. So,
okay,
of smells. So just a thing to keep in mind.
Yes.
I like that.
What are the backstories? So, I'm sorry. So have we resolved that one then, or what? Where are we at with the backstories? Let's see. I'm gonna pull it up. Cool. Okay, your backstories say someone reminded you what love was. So who was that again?
That was a good question. I think I left it open-ended. I don't know.
Okay, all right.
I kind of threw out the different characters in case one of them looked like somebody that I don't know, someone new or.
Right. So who reminded Zach what love was when Zach thought that death had stolen it away from them forever?
Snap. Jeez. It could be what about it could be Addie, even, because you have like a tight family, right? Like this construct could be witnessing your family, and it's like the opposite of them, right? It's a very tight-knit family that's on the peripheral looking. It looks probably really good, right?
Is it love?
It might be what it seems like. I bet like they seem like the type of people that put on a show for other people about like how nice and good their family is to the outside perception, right?
Whereas like your family fall actually is that though, right? Like
yeah, but I live so far away, I'm not sure if anyone's even like so, but that could could be.
Would your parents ever come and like pick you up or something, or show themselves around school?
My parents? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My parents are like, they go to every meeting and like.
Oh, that's perfect then. Maybe I've just seen that.
Sure.
Like hanging out on the edge and just watching, those interactions.
For sure.
I think that's great. And the second one is
what's the string exchange for that one?
That one, I give you a string, so you get one string on me.
Sounds good.
The other one is, did anyone watch you die? And if so, I gain we gain 2 strings on each other. And there's 4 people to choose from.
That to me seems like it could be I was gonna say that sounds like the worm connection, because it could be that's we'll describe how it happened, I think, probably, right, Julia? I mean,
the way they disappeared. Yeah. Well, I wonder how that works. Like I know that all these false scents came together into one body in the end, right? Makes them very strong, I would say. But the moment itself, how did that look like? I can't imagine exactly how this homunculus got built.
Well, it actually says like the moment when they died. So I'm imagining it like maybe like one of you saw one of the four die, right? I don't think you would have seen all four of them be killed, right? Like I think
Well, if they're missing kids, what about them having gone into the forest and going to that cave, right? Like, because it's all different intervals. So what if the main thing that holds it together is that cave that we saw in the mainline Mercy Falls story with Big Man leading Margot to the cave, and there's all that crazy stuff there and stuff? Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, but I guess the question is like which of the PCs though? Like, I mean, it's just asking like which of the PCs saw this happen, like saw these kids or one of these kids be killed. I mean, you can just choose, Tomer. Like, you don't have to like ask.
Right.
I think I like there was Akuji, and I accompanied Akuji to this cave, and then said farewell to him or her, and then she walked into this cave and was never seen alive again. Is that dead enough?
Well,
So that's pretty good. I mean, Julia, basically, it sounds like you knew Akuji was going to die by going into that cave.
I didn't know. I mean, it was just an assumption I made. But it happened. Anyway.
I'm okay with that. So Akuji would remember that you brought her to that cave, and then she went further, and either she, maybe she asked you to come along or not, but you decided not to join her, right?
No. Akuji,
Yeah.
you have to go this alone. Take the first step. I wait outside for you.
Yes, that's great.
All right.
Does anybody else want some murder action?
Oh, it's multiple people?
I don't know. Can it be?
Well, I
Got
guess
four
I
kids,
think
but
strictly
John
it's
just one.
probably I think it's supposed to be one strictly, but
that's good then.
Yeah, but I mean it's not the end of the world if we didn't abide by that. I think. Like,
Well, it seems kind of weird to be like everyone saw.
There would be a
this.
ton of strings though, yeah, on the
Yeah.
table as well. So, okay, that sounds pretty great. Let's just kind of see where we go. So, just to kind of catch everybody up like with what was going on. So we saw the other three characters. We saw them kind of like just a brief little glimpse into their home life, like before they had to go to weekend detention. Weekend detention is Saturday and Sunday, each day from 9 in the morning until 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You have your evenings. You have your evenings to do whatever you want, but during the day you're expected to be at detention. Okay, you each did something. Fall got into a fight. I don't recall what Adam and Addie did. It's probably not super relevant, and maybe you guys can discuss it in character. But anyway, you all did something that got to get you weekend detention. So maybe think about what that was, and then bring it up if you feel the opportunity to bring it up. If you look at the classroom seating chart, I've made a couple of changes. I've decided to take Becky and Debbie out of weekend detention. They're still going to be characters in our fiction, but they're not going to be in detention to make room for Zach and Julia. So just everyone pick a seat of these two seats. Julia and Zach, just grab one of those, and on the classroom tab of the character sheet, we'll kind of throw you in there. And make those blue. And so that leaves our classroom as 5 NPCs, including Coach DeVry, who is there to monitor you all, right? So our NPCs are Robbie, the captain of the basketball team. He got into a fight with Fall, which is why he's in detention. That's also why Fall's in detention. Shay, who is a young half Korean guy who is gay, who has I think we decided that he's like attracted to
Fall. Yeah, he came out to me.
Yeah, he came out to Fall. That's right. Big deal in the 80s, right?
Yeah.
We have Chad, who is a
Worst person ever.
Worst person ever. He is our classic rich kid bro dude. And initially, Addie's family thought that Chad and Chad's family was like the way for them to like reclaim their power. Her family's all about like reclaiming like political power, right? Like they used to be these big political bigwigs, and now they're just totally diminished, right? And but then they decided that Chad was no good for that because Chad's family turns out his dad had like had some money laundering issues going on, and so he was brought low. We have Heather. Heather actually came from the same town that Addie's family came from, and Heather witnessed Adeline's mom, Jackie, or is aware that like Jackie used to look different than she does now. And what we know is that Jackie, being a snake person, actually like shed her skin. So now she looks like someone different in Mercy Falls than she did wherever they came from. And so Heather knows that something weird is going on, right, with Jackie, which is Addie's mom. And at the very start of the session, Jacqueline kind of like asked Adeline to basically go confront Heather and tell her to shut the fuck up about this, right? Or to just silence her, right? So that's a thing we know that's going on. And then Coach DeVry is, we don't know much about him. He seems like an okay guy. He's just he's a coach and history teacher at the high school, and he's assigned to watching weekend detention. So, and then we have some other NPCs on the NPC tab if you want to read about them, but they're just the parents and family members that we've established. I want to get a chance to see the new characters at home too, but I think I might wait until after the first day of detention. So maybe we'll see you arriving at detention, and then when we're done with detention for the day, if we get that far, we'll see them in their home life, because I do like to see every character in their home life just briefly, if nothing else, to get a sense of where they come from, what it's like for them. So the very last thing that happened was the first 3 people to arrive at detention were Fall, Addie, and Adam. And somebody recap to me kind of what you guys were doing. It wasn't much. I think we just kind of, didn't you like Musk or something?
Yeah, well, DeVry caught Addie looking at Fall and then made like a quip about it. So then Fall Breakfast Club chair brought screeching over to Addie's desk, and there was like a little bit of awkward exchange there. Then I started sweating because of that, and then Adam got turned on and said that he liked my glasses, and that was it.
Yeah. Adam got turned on by Fall's musk, which is something that Fall does because he's this like beast of the forest, and he just blurted out, "I like your sunglasses," and that's where we ended the session. I think everyone else is the other NPCs have filed in. I think Zach, you would probably come in. I'm going to save Julia for last. Julia seems like the kind of person who would arrive last for detention. Everybody's there except actually Heather is not there. Heather never shows up. But Zach, you show up, and what are you dressed like right now? Like, what's your ensemble presently as you come into detention?
I'm going to say it's kind of like the one I described. I think I've got like a kind of weird, like a blouse that almost has some kind of maybe like an Asian influence or something about it. But then these kind of jeans that, just like ripped jeans, a little bit of a tear around the knee and it's fraying a little bit around the bottom. But then the shoes are almost kind of like those nice black shoes, like not ballet shoes. What do you call them? Like the ones that are kind of glossy and have the little buckle.
Leather shoes.
Sure, but like for like a
like a little girl, right?
Like a girl, yeah. So like that combination right now. Mary Jane's, yes, that sounds right.
Nice, good. What's the first thing you do when you walk into class? Everyone's there except for Julia.
Except for Julia and Heather, right? So there's
Heather,
like 3 seats that are open, and I probably just walk in, focus on Robbie, and just walk straight to the seat behind him and sit down. I don't think I look at anybody.
Nice.
Robbie is the captain of the basketball team. P.S.
I'm going to imagine. I would like to say. I have a question. What did I think Robbie used to bully one of your four aspects? We'll say.
Yeah.
Who was it, and what they bully them about?
I think it was Zed. So Zed, is kind of like just this, sweet, nice kid, kind of a little short. He's the redhead kind of albino boy, in the school, just kind of like a bowl cut or whatever. Small and weak. Probably like in the early 80s, you totally consider him just like effeminate or something. Although nowadays he'd just be like, just a kid, right? But like anybody who was on the basketball team or whatever would probably be like, oh, this guy is just, he's like a little girl or whatever, so he probably got pushed around a little bit that way.
What do you have on your person right now that would be recognizably Zed's?
Object wise?
Yeah, something that Robbie might notice, for example.
Right. I would say I've got a totally like one of those mechanical pencils sticking out of like my pocket. Like not a pocket protector, but I do have like pencils weren't that common. Right, and like maybe I was like the kid that always had the click, click, click thing going on. So.
But you do have a pocket protector. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
It's super like 80s nerd, right?
Yeah.
Robbie will see you come in and like Robbie's like he's the captain of the basketball team. He's tall. I think he's like just kind of like crew cut white guy, right? And he's got like his hand on he's doing that, face in hand, elbow on desk thing, right? As you come in, he's like totally bored, not wanting to be here right now. And when he first walked in, incidentally, Fall, he kind of gave you an ugly look because you're the reason why he's here, right? But he sits down. He's not trying to cause any trouble. It's Coach DeVries right there. And he sees you come in and he's like, oh my God, look at you. Jesus Christ. Like, I'm not some fashion plate. I'm not saying I know anything about that kind of stuff, but I know that you look a mess, Zach. Is that a pocket protector?
I think there's this kind of like the slow blush and look down, and I can't even help it, right? Like I'm just embarrassed and I'm turning like total albino red blush kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I think I shuffle over there, but I kind of turn around and I take my pencil out and I take the pocket protector out and stick it in my pocket, pencil back in my pocket, and then I just sit down as if that kind of absolves me of my sins.
That's good. I actually want you to keep your cool because I think we've established that Robbie used to tease you, right? I think I might even push on that a little bit right now. I think he'll say, he's like, putting it in your pocket doesn't make it any better, Zach. Jesus Christ, you're just like that nerd Zed. And now keep your cool. And I'd like to know, like, what do you want to avoid here?
I want to avoid. So keeping cool is a thing, right?
It's a move, yeah. And it says when you keep your cool, just name what you're afraid of, and then roll with cool.
I think I'm afraid he'll think I'm as weak as Zed was, because like right now, like personality wise, although I'm feeling the shame immediately, I think my primary personality up front is kind of like a Kuji, and she wouldn't really give a shit so much, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a part of me which is like, wait. I don't need to give a shit what this guy thinks, but Zed's first reaction would always be to be like, oh crap, like I'm gonna, just embarrassed, right?
There's a roll for your party link there. Just roll plus gold.
Okay. All right. Here we go. I will be purple. What do we got here? Ooh, 11. Let me see what my cold is. I can't remember. +2. Okay.
Yeah, you got a really good result.
There you go.
You get to keep your cool, and you gain an insight. You get to ask me a question about the situation and take +1 forward when acting on it. Go ahead and just think about it. I'm gonna cut for a sec, but just think about your question. Otherwise, yeah, you keep it together. I'm gonna check back in on everybody else before Julia gets there. So, Fall, how are you feeling right now with Robbie? Because Robbie's acting like an asshole already, and he already kind of like gave you an ugly look. This is gonna be a long day, right?
Yeah. If it's the day after getting hit in the face with a basketball, maybe he has like black eyes or dark eyes or whatever.
Yeah.
And I say, pay no attention to the raccoon. And I start dragging my chair back to my desk.
Ooh, that's a shutdown. Go ahead and roll cold.
+1. I'll do orange dice again. 9, 10. Snap.
Yeah. All right. Choose one from the list.
Let's see. French.
Let's look at Robbie. Robbie has no strings on you, so you can take a string on him. Or give him
Maybe I'll give him a condition, and it's cowed.
Nice. Cowed is a good one. Awesome. Let me make a note of that. So I think the way this is, he like, I think like, who's the first one to start laughing as soon as Fall says, "Pay no attention to the raccoon"? Nice. Just give me a little bit of fiction there, Addie. Like, just tell me how you kind of help put Robbie in his place.
Yeah, well, I think for Addie, she's just seen the guy who she used to date get shut down by
You
the
guys
guy
used to date, yeah.
But he dumped me in like a real mean way as well. So she's seen the guy she has a crush on just like shut down the guy who she used to go out with. So she's just gonna be like, she'll let out one of those like laughters that you can't quite contain or you can't get back in before it's up, and and I don't think she has a quip. I think she just like laughs at Robbie
or whatever. Yeah,
at Robbie very dismissively. Like, that sounds about right.
And then of course Chad jumps in there, right? Because Chad has to, right? Like, he can't not pass that up. And he's like, ha ha ha, raccoon. And he's like, that's pretty funny, Fall. Jesus Christ, I didn't know you were a funny guy like that.
And it just keeps, all you hear is the screeching sound of the chair as I keep dragging it very slowly.
Nice. Good. Okay, we've had that little moment. Julia, make your entrance, please.
Yeah, am I late? I don't. I wasn't thinking so, but Hiva is also not there yet, right? Today I take her chair. I think I sit down at her place because actually I want to get my treasure's attention for sure, but all the time in the same place next to him doesn't draw attention, but like irritating slightly. That's important. So I purposefully choose that everybody can see the seat where Heather usually sits. I have a flouncy dress and big boots like Doc Martens. Mm-hmm. They already became a thing recently, or maybe because of me, who knows. And I have a yo-yo in my pocket, but even me, I wouldn't show that to anybody, but even me, I'm too afraid to pull that out because I'm not sure yet if for 16, 17 years old, it's a cool thing to have. But I have it with me and I like to use it. It's good against nervosity. And so I sit down in the back and I'm ready to absorb the energy of the class and the sounds which are around me. And I have a careful look what Adam does.
How do you react, Adam?
How do I react? I kind of just like, no, I don't know how to react, so I don't do much. Like, I'm not going to make any big gestures in front of the class. That's not who I.
It's amazing for me to see from this perspective, from behind, how much an effort you make not to react to me. And an evil smile comes on my face. Yeah, he's mine already. He's mine already. He's working really hard.
Are you trying to turn Adam on weirdly or what? Like, is it,
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yeah, and I do so by reacting like with little noises. Every time he makes a little noise, I also make a little noise. So he knows that we have a secret kind of communication. Like if he drops his pen, I will drop my pen as well. If he moves his chair, I will move my chair. It should be recognizable after a while.
Yeah, that's that will screw him up because usually he's the one imitating what others are
imitating
doing.
other people? Yeah.
Exactly. So why not turn that around?
I love it.
Best
Yeah,
way
so-
to handle people. The good thing is I'm really bad at turning people on. So I roll at -1.
It's not the best approach. It seems like a weird approach to turn someone on. But
Yeah.
And I roll a 5.
Go ahead, mark an XP.
I do.
Presumably, Adam. I think you were not turned on. What are you thinking right now about?
Yeah, I'm
this?
like, fuck! They found out what I'm doing. Like she totally knows I'm a fake, and like she's mirroring my gestures. So what do I do now? And so like I more or less freeze in my seat, and then in a pose I hope that is neutral, and then I I can't really sit still, so I'm always like straightening my my 2 white pullovers, and yeah, but I'm trying to like stare dead ahead and not move.
As I do.
It's such a weird scene. I love it. All right, good. So you're both now just looking really still and straight ahead. And Coach DeVries says, well, now that I have all of your attention, and here I am getting my 6 in, my move, here, my reaction, sorry. Now that I have all your attention, does anybody know where Heather is? Heather, I was going to say Langenkamp, but I won't do that. Heather, that's a Nightmare on Elm Street character. Heather Jameson, anybody know Heather here? Anybody? She's the last person on my list. He's like a middle-aged guy, just so you guys know. He's like a middle-aged guy, graying thin hair. He's a nice guy. He's not like some jerk teacher. You know? All right, then. So that's no on Heather. Well, kids, there are many, many roads you can take in life. Some of those roads lead to really dark places. And one of those roads that leads to a really dark place is not coming to weekend detention. Where do we go from there, you know? It's so hard to say. But you're all good kids. You're all here. You're on your path to redemption. Not Heather Jameson. He kind of makes a note and sets his stuff down. He goes through some rules. He tells you, all right, we're going to be here until 5 o'clock. If you have homework, you can take it out and do it right now. If you want to just put your head on the desk and have a nap, I don't mind that either. If you start snoring, I might have to come wake you up, so don't snore. But we'll have a break at noon. We have bag lunches prepared for you. We'll go get your bag lunch, and then we'll come back. And then at 5 o'clock, you'll be able to leave. Does anybody have any questions about how today is going to go?
Can we open the windows, Coach?
Yes. I should mention, I think you guys are not actually in a classroom. I'd like to suggest that you guys are actually, a la the Breakfast Club, I think you're in the library, okay? It's like a big 2-story open air library space. and there is like a bank of windows like on one side that like look out into the street, right? And you guys are just there in the center on some tables that have been arranged for the purpose. He says, "Open some windows. What do you? It's November right now. We'll freeze. Come on."
I just get so pent up in here, Coach. You know how I get.
He's like, yeah, all right. Yeah, you can go open some windows. Go for it, please.
Don't worry, guys. It'll be cool. He goes and opens it.
Nice. He says, all right, well, so let's, if there's no other questions, everybody please have a seat. And he kind of sits down. And you guys are that way for a little bit, probably like 30 minutes, an hour pass. And it's just kind of just sitting there quietly, right? You're not allowed to talk. You are allowed to work on homework. I'm going to go around the table and find out what you're each doing during this quiet time where you can't do anything except personal things. Fall, what are you doing during your hour?
I'm folding up a piece of paper into an airplane and writing a note on it, and I'm going to throw it at Adeline.
Nice. Well, Adeline, what are you doing during this time?
She can't concentrate. She's just got one eye on the door and one eye on the clock, and then one eye behind her at the empty desk. So,
what are you thinking about the fact that Heather's not there? You had a job today.
Yeah, nervous, anxious, because it won't take. She didn't turn up. It's like a good excuse for why I didn't bring back her hair or anything.
Right. Oh, that's right. You're supposed to bring back some of her hair too, for Aunt Evelyn. Yeah.
I'm wondering, is there a way I could like maybe get around this with someone else give me some of their hair and I can say it's hers? Like I'm just running like all the other game plans.
Yeah, it's good. Julia, what are you doing during this hour of quiet time? That hour is going to be interrupted, but not yet. So.
Yeah, it's going to be to be interrupted. I think so because the window is open. I have to say that's a good idea because there's a dead butterfly on the window. And I pick that up with one of my tissues and prepare another capsule because when I heat this butterfly up, it will smell like summer. And that's a scent which might be valuable for my collection.
So you are taking some time to collect a dead butterfly and procure its scent.
Yes, and I want to do so that everybody can see that I'm doing that.
Coach Trevor will walk over to you at a certain point while you're there fiddling with your stuff. And he'll lean over you and he'll say,
no, he doesn't. I turn around and I'm gone again. Gone already. I might shut him down already before he says something.
He's just looking at you like, what are you doing? Right?
Yeah, and I want to make him look stupid while doing so.
So what do you do?
I just turn around and pretend that he's not around at all. It's like
you just walk past him.
Yeah, even worse. Like I step on his shoe. And don't say excuse me or anything.
Nice. Yeah, it's a shutdown. Go for it. Go cool.
I'm better on that. It's a +2. That still doesn't help me. I only have a 6.
All right, mark an XP. He doesn't have time to reply. For reasons we're going to discuss in a moment. I want to just finish the table and find out what everyone's doing during that hour of quiet time before I make my move there. Adam, what are you doing during that quiet time?
Yeah, I think I keep trying to stay in a neutral pose and just sitting there on the verge of a panic attack.
Nice. Give me a keep your cool. What are you afraid is going to happen?
That they people somehow realize that I'm
false.
That I'm fake, and it's that I'm sticking out like Zach, who isn't even making an effort to hide the weirdness. So
roll plus cool.
Plus cool. Let's see what my cool is. Yeah, that's -1. That's great. I'm not cool.
What'd you end up with? Not great.
Yeah, so that's a 3.
I think you are sitting there like just I'm just going to take over for a minute. You're sitting there and you're just like trying to look so calm and collected and like, oh my God, is everyone like, what's going on? What's going on? And I think you're starting to break out into sweat a little bit, right? Like you're just starting to like, like kind of freaking out a little bit. Your hand's starting to tremble a little bit. And Coach DeVry comes up to you and he's like, he looks at you, right? And you're trembling. You look flush. You're sweating. You don't look great. And he says, son, are you high right now? Are you going through some kind of withdrawal? You look terrible.
No. I'm. Everything is fine.
I'm not convinced. Here, he looks at his little sheet. Adam, right? Adam, come with me. I've got an office set up here, the librarian's office. Just come on. Just come with me. We're gonna make a phone call.
What? No, I can't assure you. I'm not doing drugs or anything.
Adam, I didn't make this an option. I just come with me, please. And then he just like goes.
Yeah, I follow him.
And he just like takes you to like a little like there's like basically like a little like study room, right? And this little study room like looks out onto the street, right? And he says, just have a seat in here for a moment, please. I'm gonna try to get a hold of your parents. You don't look well. And I'm just this is not what I want this weekend, okay? So just have a seat and just sit tight, okay? And he closes the door.
Yep. I sit down first, crossing my legs again, and then reminding myself not to do that and sitting straight.
Indeed. Hold that thought, though. I'm not done making my move. Meanwhile, Zach, how do you spend that hour?
So with the keep my cool, I was able to ask a question about
yeah, please do.
About our friend Robbie, right? So I think
absolutely.
I think the Akuji part of Zach thinks or is trying to find out maybe exact information about the cave, and kind of like she remembers maybe getting either strangled or something from behind, but she doesn't know who did it, right? So I think she's trying to get information about that. And because it was like a physical action, she expects it to be somebody strong. So I think what she's trying to do is like suss out, like try to go and get information about that. So I think what she wants to do is like, how does she put Robbie on edge so that maybe he reveals something if she's like, tries to probe, get information. And she's got the mechanical pencil, so I don't know if like part of it is she just like fucking around with that behind his head.
Robbie used to run with some boys. Okay, they're no longer around. There was a terrible car accident, and only Robbie survived. The other 3 of them all died in this car accident. Okay. The best way to set Robbie on edge is to make noises or otherwise try to remind Robbie, even if just at a sort of subconscious level, of what was a really traumatic moment in his life. This was, 2 summers ago. That's a great way of softening Robbie up.
Okay. So I think that's what Zach is doing, is like, making little like origami cars and like crashing them into shit.
Cool.
And making like kind of under her breath, making those sounds and just kind of like playing around on her desk like that.
Mm.
Um,
He will turn around at a couple points during that like quiet hour when you're doing that, and he'll just like look over his shoulder, like just give you like the ugliest look, and he'll kind of like, and he's chosen to put his head down and take a nap, so he'll just like kind of put his head down, and you can see that he's like he's not just putting his head down to like take a nap, like he's actually like covering his ears and like like doing this, right? Like I mean, he's having a little PTSD, right? Like he's really
right.
like not good right now. Um, is that satisfying your hunger by chance?
I think so. Yeah, it's starting
Maybe.
to.
Yeah, I think it might be. Go ahead, mark an XP. Or do you have that? Were you satisfied? Is that one of your?
I think so. Hold on, let me see. Where is that thing?
I know when I played a ghoul, it was, which Lauren would have hated my ghoul because it was an incest ghoul. But well, it was implied incest between the character and his mother, but
I think in this case, it's just when I heedlessly pursue it, I add 1 to rolls. That's what it looks like.
oh, okay, you don't have the XP one. Okay.
No,
I
no,
know
no.
there's one state which you can get XP. In any case, consider this hunger satisfied. Like, how does it make you feel to make? How does it make you feel to make Robbie scared?
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. I mean, there's an excitement of almost empathizing with it and feeling a little bit of that scaredness, but then feeling like I'm in control of it, like I'm the one doing it, and just putting his face in it. This guy who's all strong and or pretends to be strong, and just and Akuji was pretty much like she was very like anti-patriarchy kind of thing, and so like just taking his head and just like shoving his face in his shitty memories.
Nice, nice.
In it.
We're going to take a quick break, just a quick bio break, 2 or 3 minutes, and we'll come back. I will tell you, though, that there's a phone. The phone rings. It kind of breaks the silence. It kind of maybe freaks you guys out a little bit. And Coach DeVry goes over to pick it up, and he's having a conversation. And whatever that conversation is, it's not good. So
Yeah. Before we break the scene, does my getting found out by the coach count as screwing up?
I think probably, yeah. We'll discuss it. We're just having a break, so we're not done with the scene. We're just having a break. So
Yeah.
we'll come back and
Okay,
discuss
because that triggers one of my moves. I can give myself a condition and get this one forward.
it. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, we'll come back and talk about it.
Jason has so many more misses with so many more people.
No. Where did Garrett go? I guess he had to.
He wanted to use a different browser because if he uses Chrome, he can't get that little the bar at the bottom there. Doesn't work for him, so he's
which is totally ironic since Chrome is the Google
yeah.
browser.
Well, I'm using Chrome and it's working, so I don't know. I don't know how Tomer got his so far up though, but
mine's backwards on my screen. Is that just because it's flipped?
Yeah, you just gotta.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you guys see it normal?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm not worried about it.
Is mine good?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's weird then. Okay. Because I flipped mine and it looks like normal. So I don't know why yours would look normal but look backwards to you.
So, Adam, you're in this room by yourself. Because he just kind of freaked out and thought that you needed to be separated because you looked like you were having some kind of attack or something. And so he's put you by yourself. And so you're just in this little like study carrel looking out into the street by yourself. You can't hear any of what's about to happen. Okay.
Yep.
Everyone else at a certain point, and Adam's been in there for a little while at this point, like 20 or 30 minutes. The silence is broken by this phone call. And Coach DeVry is just like he's on the phone and he's takes his hat off, rubs his forehead, right? He's like, oh, honey, you've got to calm down. Honey, whatever you're trying to say to me, I can't understand what you're saying. Honey, you've got to calm down. You've got to speak more slowly. Slowly, you're not making any sense. Marge, you're not making any sense. Like, please just, and he's like, and you can hear the little ambient, like, sounds of probably his wife really upset on the other end. He says, honey, you're not making any sense right now. Just hold on. Okay. Just hold on. And he's like, I'll be right there. Just hold on. And he puts the phone down and he says, kids, I have to go. I've got something going on at the house. I've got to go. I'll be back in 30 minutes tops. So just sit here, don't talk. I don't care. Sit here. Don't move. Don't go anywhere. And just I'll be right back. Okay. I'll be right back. And then he just leaves.
Oh shit. When he leaves, does the States have that thing where you could dial *69 and it would tell you the last number that called the line?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
I'll do that.
It'll well, I guess what I'm not sure how it would have, like, how you'd know who it was.
Doesn't it usually give you the information?
I think in the US at that time, when you'd hit those numbers, it would just call them back, right?
Yeah. I think it just calls them back.
Well, there was one that would call them back, and then there was like one that was information on the last number that called, so that you could like potentially, if somebody was prank calling you, you would get the information, and then you could call the cops and be like.
Well, let's say it's that. It was his wife. It was his own home phone number.
And I think I'm like Coach DeVry's in the doghouse.
Let's just have the scene. I mean, everyone's there. Chad gets up and he's like, well, I don't know about you losers, but I'm not staying here. I'm going to go. And he's like, he just leaves. He's like, I'm going to go to the cafeteria, see what I can find. And he just leaves.
Paul's like, no, wait, in a really quiet voice, like he doesn't want him to, and be like, oh, that's too bad. See ya.
I think Zach is going to crash into Robbie. Like the whole chair, just like, we're on little tables, right? Or whatever.
Yeah. Like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
I think I'm just going to crash into him and make like the loudest car crash noise I can. I'm assuming he's kind of like on his.
Yeah. Shut someone down.
All right. Let's see. Room. Oh. Reroll these suckers. That's 8. And shut someone down is with cold. So 9, 10.
All right. He has no strings on you, so you can take a string on him or give him a condition or.
Yeah, let's take a. I'll take a string on him.
Okay. He just like whips around on you, and like his face is just red, right? And he's like, "Fuck you, Zach. That's fuck you." And he gets up, and he's like, he's just kind of fuming, right? Like, and like Fall, you can tell you've seen this look on his face before, right? Like his fists are clenched, like he's gonna take a swing at Zach. Like, I mean, he's this close, right? He's this close. What do you do?
I want to do something that is so awkward that he just talks to me instead. Let's see. That's interesting. Doesn't really, like, the trigger is so weird. You radiate so much awkward that it affects those around you. I guess for me trying to trigger it, I get, like, I put myself between them. And I think the awkward thing is just me asking him a question. And
Okay.
I just ask him straight up, who do you want to make out with?
He's like red faced and like, and so what's the mechanically what benefit do you get here?
When you ask someone a question listed below, they blurt out a truthful answer. If you want to ask another question in the same scene, you answer your first question yourself, and yada yada yada.
So he's sitting there and like, okay, so all right, so let's just rewind. Let's just do it again. So he's there and he's like fuming and he's like red faced and his fists are clenched. And he's just like staring at Zach like he wants to just like smash Zach, right?
Yeah. And then I still have my hands in my coveralls, like looking nonchalant, and I've got my big, like probably Ray-Ban sunglasses on or whatever. And Fall just is like, "Hey, Robbie, who's the cutest girl in school who do you want to make out with?"
Julia, but no, shut up, just shut up. And then he like, and he's like, "Oh, fuck all of you," and he just leaves to go to the bathroom.
Oh well. Fall, that was highly inappropriate.
Well, I mean, at least he didn't punch the guy. And now, he admitted the truth to himself. That's the first step. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Thanks, Fall.
But I think it's time, to calm down a little bit, right?
So what did your note to Addie say, Paul?
Oh, I wanted it to be something super awkward, like when she got it, it just says "sorry for embarrassing you," which like makes it awkward again and embarrassing.
Because you threw it right, yeah. You threw a paper plate note.
Yeah.
Nice.
But the airplane, is flawless. So.
I'm going to cut to Adam. Adam, you've been in there by yourself for a while, right? You don't even know that Coach DeVry is gone. You're just in this room, like trying to keep it together. And it's warm in the room. The window's not open in this one. It's pretty warm. And you're getting that like kind of, like when it's really warm and you start to get like a little like drowsy, like you just start to like a little sleepy or just kind of like going in and out or whatever, right? And you turn to look out the window and you see the main drag of Mercy Falls. A couple pickup trucks go by, a big semi truck that has large, trees, like downed trees, strapped to the back of it goes by. It's mostly pretty unremarkable. Across the street, there's a drugstore, and you see a couple of like old ladies go in to do their business and come back out. And you turn away, and you turn and look again, and you see someone standing across the street. They are just standing stock still, kind of like you were standing really like you were really still, right? Like they're really still. They're across the street. It's a man, muscular. He's got tattoos, I guess. It's hard to tell at this distance. His shirt is off, and you see on his chest and his arms, his chest and arms are covered with these like swirly, spiraling tattoos all over his chest and arms, right? And he's just staring like into the window of the room you're sitting in, staring at you, maybe. It's unclear.
Yeah, that's... Tattoos are kind of cool.
Tattoos are pretty cool.
Yeah, I kind of pick up my pen and I'm drawing a spiral on my arm.
Nice. While you do that, while you're drawing that spiral on your arm, it feels like you're almost like you're having a connection with this guy at that precise moment, right? Like you're drawing this on your arm, and like he's a good 100 paces away, but he's a good 100 paces away, but you feel like he's watching you draw these spirals on your arm, right? And then he takes out a mask that looks like a stag skull with horns, and he puts it on his face, and he's still just staring at you. What do you do?
What if how close is Halloween?
Nowhere near Halloween. So it's November, in fact. It's already over.
So, yeah, that's a creepy guy. That's like it's
Keep her cool.
yeah, okay.
What do you not want to happen right now?
I'm unsure about that. I don't think they're. Yeah, I don't really want the guy to come over here, but I don't really think there's a risk for that actually happening. Like, okay, I have to. Sorry, to clear that first before I can. Yeah, that's 5.
5. Mark and XP. I'm gonna wrap up this scene really quickly and get back to the rest of the group.
Yeah, can I still take my condition from last time?
What was your condition from last time?
I can give myself a condition.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So how does this?
And get +1 forward, which we already missed.
Oh. what would that have put your die roll at?
That wouldn't change anything.
Yeah, okay. We can say you did that.
yeah. But I guess drug fiend would be my condition. Like
yeah, because that's what he kind of accused you of, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, possibly.
So that's like something I can act on.
So you're standing there. I'm trying to wrap this up real quickly. You're standing there. This guy is there with the strange swirly tattoos on his body, and you're there like drawing this like spiral on your own arm, and he's just like, you can tell he's looking at you like he knows what you're doing almost. And then he puts on that stag skull mask, and you're just like freaking out. And you look away, and then you look back, and he's about 10 paces closer.
Yeah, are there curtains in this room?
Huh?
Are there curtains in this room that I can
There
just close?
There are not, no. You turn, you look away again, he's about 20 paces closer. Just getting closer every time you look. What do you do?
I stop with, like, I kind of finish the spiral and then I stop.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I go to the other room.
Yeah, you can do run away. Do run
Like,
away.
yeah, I just get up and walk over to the other room.
Yeah, do run. I'm gonna make it a run away since you're kind of freaking out. Roll plus
Yep.
volatile. Go ahead and roll that. We'll come back to it.
Okay.
Well, so I guess the question is, I'm going to ask each of you, what are you doing now that you have, now that there's no supervision? What are you up to, Addie?
Yeah, so Adeline has just seen Robbie blurt out that he thinks Julie is the hottest girl in school. So
Right.
I think Adeline is like how snakes try and eye something up to see if they can fit it in their mouths before they try and bite.
Yes.
She's giving Julia that look, and approach, but she's kind of like eyeing her up for sure.
Yeah. Is this Gaze into the Abyss?
Yeah, I reckon.
Because you've made it like a snake kind of thing. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I am your abyss. Yes.
Yeah, Julia's your abyss.
Wednesday Adams.
Roll plus dark.
Go well. Oh, actually, it's a 10.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So what do you want to know?
Pull up the questions.
I mean, just ask me. It's open ended. It's like whatever you want to know.
Wait a bit choppy for a second.
Yeah. Maybe just go off video. Might be not a video kind of day.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. What can I ask?
Oh, it's open ended. You can ask whatever you want. Did you hear that, Lauren?
No, sorry.
Yeah. Are you just breaking up? Like, are you able to hear us right now or what? We'll just cut away for a second.
It's a little bit choppy. Seems to be okay now.
Okay. Well, yeah. So you can ask whatever you want, basically, about the situation, like whatever you want to know, and I'll answer.
Oh, cool. I guess I want to know, like, what's the way to like wrap her around my finger? Yeah.
So,
how can I? Yeah, that kind of thing.
What's the best way to get her wrapped around your finger? Is that what you asked?
Yeah.
Julia, what do you think?
I'm all about bargaining. And I really like to spend time with Adeline, but she doesn't have anything to offer. If she wants to wrap me around her finger, she needs to get control over Adam. Then we could start a discussion.
Interesting.
It is also enough to pretend to have control over Adam. I could be easily convinced, I think, with your charm.
Here's your vision. Your vision, the way this is translated, the way this is relayed to you, Addie, is you have a vision that of your family, of Jackie, of your uncle, Uncle Nicholas, Aunt Genevieve, Aunt Evelyn, and you're all in this like dark, wet, cave-like space, right? And you and Jackie and Evelyn and Nicholas are all kind of like in a semicircle facing something or someone that is laid out like on an altar or a plinth of some sort. And Genevieve, the one who's half snake, she's like rising up, like with like her half snake body, like rising up, like in almost a sort of like a priestess, right? Because in ancient times, she was like she would have been the queen, right? Because she's like more snake than the rest of you, right? Nowadays, she's just a shameful thing that gets kept in the attic, right? But in this vision, she rises up and she has like this curved blade, right? And there, splayed out on this slab, is Adam, being very, very still, being perfectly still, not moving at all. And you know that like you're preparing him as bait, basically. Adam's your bait to draw Julia in.
Excellent.
Cut to Zach. Zach, what are you up to?
So I think Zach, now that Robbie's gone, Zach has their eyes set on Julia. But Julia's tricky, right? Because Julia is always very haughty and, has a lot of attitude, right? So Zach kind of tries, like, as Julia's distracted by, this stuff going on with Addie, I think Zach wants to walk up right behind Julia and just whisper, asphyxiation. Asphyxiation, like choking, just in case Garrett didn't hear. But
are you trying to send the signal that like what happened and you think that Julia did it?
Well, I'm just trying to. I'm just going to try to start a conversation, right? So I'm going to start kind of talking to myself, but to Julia, and go, some people think that asphyxiation can be very sexually gratifying. However, when I felt in the cave, when I felt those warm hands around my throat, it did not feel sexual. It was scary and unnerving, and the air was coming out of my body. But that final part where the oxygen was leaving my brain, the pain started to melt away, and that was soothing, right? And I'm just kind of trying to, so I'm trying to trigger a move from my playbook, which is ending. When you remember details about your death and tell somebody about it, you're trying to turn them on with cold.
That's so weird. I love it. Whoa. I was like, where's this going? Oh, you're turning her on.
Goosebumps right here.
So I'm just kind of like continuing, like slowly talking about like the hands squeezing and and then how the darkness is coming in from the edges and the pain is starting to glide away and that kind of stuff, right? Can I trigger that move?
Yeah, please do. Yeah.
All right.
I 100% agree.
You don't have to
okay.
Say
oh, perfect. So that's a
turned on or not.
that's a 10 with the plus cold.
Awesome. Turn someone on. 10 plus. You get a string on Julia, and they choose a reaction. So, Julia, do you have your reactions in front of you?
I have them in front of me. I don't get embarrassed, and I don't act awkward. And I would love to promise something. I think you won't, but you're still like an enigma to me. And but I think I know something what you want, and I think you want to grow. I think you want to like actually grow. I think I would like to give you a sense, like on a very cryptic level, that I want to extend your name. I want to make your name longer. I want that you are called Zakurunas Art with AD at the end.
You got murder Chad.
Or Adam. It's both is possible.
Lots of possibility.
Lots of possibilities.
Yeah.
So I promise to feed your hunger, no matter if it's like on the two levels you have.
In the fiction, what do you just like say that out loud or what? Like how does that go?
Or I think they have.
Or you're just gonna give it.
We have a very cryptic conversation, and I just finished all, and I mean all, short stories by Edgar Allan Poe. So I use cryptically, unfortunately me, the player, doesn't have read all of them recently, but I use all the names from all the characters who have something to do with hunger and lust. And I tell you a couple of details from these stories by looking straight into your eyes and not stopping without blinking, looking into your eyes. And I feel aroused.
All right. How do you respond, Zach?
I think there's definitely the eyes like connect, and I'm taking all that in, but right at the end, and it's not that I get embarrassed or kind of turn away in kind of like a shocking way, but I think right at the end where I'm realizing what Julia's trying to communicate, that's when I think my brows kind of furrow a little bit, kind of like, like that's maybe not what I was expecting. And I just kind of close my eyes and then turn and walk away and kind of like face a corner and just process it.
Nice. Is that like was that like shutdown level turn away or just like you turning away?
No, just me turning away. I don't think I was trying to
make her feel bad or anything.
Yeah, no.
We're gonna get to your bursting out of the room there in a moment, Adam. But before we do, Fall, the only NPC left in the room is Shay, and Shay is I think he's a little younger. I think he's actually like a sophomore or a freshman, and he's very delicate. Like he has a very like kind of like he looks as delicate as his name sounds, right? Very fine, small boned, right person. And I think he dresses like very. I think he's got like that whole. He's got that whole like sort of what was emo in the 80s, like this like a Smiths kind of thing going on, right? Like just I think he's got like an asymmetrical haircut, like kind of with his hair over his eye, right? And all that kind of stuff. And he comes up to you and he says, this is just like in the middle of, people milling around at this point. And just, everyone's like, a little on edge and acting kind of funny after Coach left, right? Shay comes up to you and he says, hey, Fall, Chad's having a party tonight, and he invited a bunch of people, and I wanted to see if you would be interested in like going. I'm not. I think Chad's kind of a jerk. I'm not even sure why he asked me to go, but I don't know. It'd be great if I had some backup, I guess.
Yeah, like the old times. Let's hit it. Also, I feel like Fall gets kind of claustrophobic inside, like he always wants to get out, and it's only getting worse as he gets older and stuff. So I think Shay sees him being really agitated and like fidgety and stuff.
I think he'll kind of like put his hand on your shoulder and like just a really really like light touch, right? Like very very like light touch with his fingertips. And he says, "Hey, are you okay?"
Can I do a keep my cool maybe? kinda
I'm
wanna-
into that. Yeah, if you think it's rising to that level, yeah.
Yeah, like I kind of want the mechanics to tell me if fall is like turned on by Shay or not. Like to have
Oh, I
the dice
see.
are like adjudicate.
Well,
what
then,
that relationship's like.
then the question. We'll ask the question. Then, what are you afraid is going to happen? I mean,
Um,
in character, right?
it's the '80s, so maybe he's afraid that people will think that we're like
That
a
you
couple.
guys are together, right? I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, it's good. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, these dice mine. I'm just gonna use them. These orange ones. Oops. Reveal selected is not what I want. Okay, so that's a 5 plus. What is it again? I'm rolling
Cool.
cold. Oh, that's a 6.
All right, mark an XP.
I learned something.
Anonymous. Yeah. So you are, he kind of says, "Are you okay? Like, is everything all right?"
I think he like kind of moves into the hand and says, today's like a bad day, kind of like referring to his claustrophobicness in school. Like some days he's okay, some days he's just like wants to be running outside, basically.
Yeah. I think Addie, you're going to notice this the most, right? Because you have a thing for fall, and Shay kind of like Shay kind of like sits on the desk, like sits on the desk, and you're there, right? And he says, I think Shay knows this about you, right? Like this is probably something Shay knows about you, right?
I think Shay is the kind of friend that I have that knows more about me than I know about myself.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. And he's like, and he kind of puts his hands on your shoulders, right? He's like, hey, look, and he's like, look me in the eye. He pushes his hair back so you can see about his eyes, and he says, it's going to be okay. Look, we can go outside. I can have a smoke. You can get some fresh air. It's going to be all right, right? Don't worry about it. Okay? Are you going to be all right?
Yeah, I nod and I say that sounds perfect.
All right, good. Like, and he kind of like, and maybe you guys get up, and I think he just like straight up like puts his, I think he just like kind of like puts his arm around your shoulder, right, and your neck, and he's like, and he's talking really close, right, like really close and really intimate, right, and he's like, are you okay? Like, do you want to go home or anything or what?
Nah, I don't need to go home. I don't want to get in trouble. Plus, I don't even know what my parents would think. They're angry at me, if you know what I mean. But
I think everyone sees this, and I'm going to give you the condition. I'm going to give you the condition gay for Shay.
Sure.
Little play on words there, you know. And and you guys can just go outside. Yeah, so.
And also, all the other players, just so you know, my other condition is hillbilly if you ever need to use it to get to a +1 on me.
I'd also like to suggest that your musk is probably really powerful right now.
Oh yeah, like if DeVry saying that someone was looking at me made me sweat.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think your musk is really powerful, and I think it's going to hit. Let's say it hits Addie. So how does it affect Addie?
Let's see, Addie. So I have a distinct smell, powerful, perhaps intriguing. When you break a sweat, MC tells you who is aroused and gives you a string on them. Oh.
Take a string on Addie.
That person chooses a reaction from below. I give you a compliment. I give myself to you. My eyes water and I gag. I am repulsed, so I ridicule you about your body, and I give you a condition. And if you need to see those, you can just mouse over in the character sheet on Icebreak or on Musk.
I kind of like the idea of her blurting out like, Adam's totally right. Those glasses are really cool. A distinguishing feature that you have.
The funny, well, and I think, and I love the idea of you saying it then, because I think we can kind of retcon it, but I think Shay probably asked you to take your sunglasses off, right? So he could so you guys could look at each other in the eye, right?
Oh yeah, and then Addie.
Nice.
Yeah, so
And then Addie's
it's
like,
even,
"Oh, those sunglasses are really cool," right? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I had like my hand on the glass that I take it off and I just smile and say thanks, and then I think we're walking out, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. And as you're walking out, like Addie, you'll see like, Shay's got his arm around Fall and kind of doing that like, shoulder massage thing, as they're kind of going out the door, right? Like to calm him down or whatever. Adam, you got a 13 on your runaway, right? You are gone. You are out of there. And you're in a safe place. Where do you go to?
The Fortress of Solitude.
So was the room directly adjacent to the library?
I guess yeah. The room you're in is adjacent to the library.
Yeah, I come in there still kind of, but I see that the coach isn't here, and a few of the others aren't either. So I ask, what happened?
Yeah, there's like no one around. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's basically just Addie there staring at Fall and Shay as they walk off, and Zach and Julia being weirdos to each other. So
yeah. So yeah, I'm just come in and I ask, so what happened?
DeVry had to take a call and he left, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
you guys can tell. You can tell that Adam looks really shaken right now.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Sure. And I pull back my sleeve over the spiral I drew on
The
my
homemade
arm.
spiral tattoo. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a tattoo yet, but just a spiral and permanent marker on my arm, like you do. There was some creepy dude staring into the window.
But he didn't go to this school or anything.
He was kind of walking towards it, so that's why I left the room.
I mean, I think Zach is intrigued by that, and they're going to go into the room to see what Adam's talking about.
Yeah. This could be a gaze into the abyss situation. I'm going to suggest, mainly because you are like you're intrigued by the fear, right? Is like you see that Adam is shaken, and you're drawn to that. What is it like when you gaze into the abyss? I guess like kind of drill into it a little bit more for me. Like you go in there and what? You see nothing. I'll tell you at the outset.
Right. So I think, so Adam, you left the room and the light, there was like a light on or something, right? It's not like it's dark in there or too dark, right?
Yeah, I couldn't. There weren't any curtains to close, so yeah,
right.
It's light.
I think I walk in and, and maybe the light is kind of dim in there. Is it already getting dark outside? Like, what's the time?
No, it's like 11 a.m. It's pretty
right.
early stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think at first it's kind of one of those situations where you walk into the room and it's just like normal, right? Like, what's this guy talking about? There's, a couple pieces of furniture and you can see outside the window. It's, the lights coming in and, it looks kind of like a cool day, maybe a little sunny, a little overcast or whatever. But I'm going to say, maybe it's not overcast today. Like it's just like a sunny, cool day, winter day or late fall day. And, but it feels dim outside. Like there's, like the light's not coming through all the way, almost like there's shaded window, right?
Yeah,
like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel, it feels like something's preventing the light from coming in almost like emotionally or viscerally or whatever.
I love it. Yeah, roll plus dark.
Okay.
And what do you want to know?
Oof. I want to know where that fear is coming from. Like, I want to see what this thing is, right?
Yeah.
Let me see. All right. I think. All right, here we go. I don't know if these dice are working for me right. The room. Hold on.
Which color are you, or did you?
I was purple, but it doesn't let me like grab them. So let me
Mm.
try to refresh the room or whatever. Let's try to do that again. Okay, so if I say 2 dice, and I just say submit clear. No, I don't think it's doing it here. I've got 2 dice here in front of me. I'll just roll these. All right, that's 6 plus dark. I don't think dark is a good stat for me. No, oh no, it is. It's a 1. Okay, so 7.
The abyss shows you confusing and alarming visions, but you get your answer nonetheless. I'm going to give you your answer in a moment. I'm going to cut away for a sec, but before you go, I love how you've described it. Like you go in and like the sun should be shining through, but your basic sort of emotional darkness squelches the sun, right? I kind of like that, right? It's almost like you are peeling away the veil of goodness and light to show the darkness beyond, right? I'm really into that. And I have an answer. I'm gonna give it to you in a minute. So cutting back to the main room, Julia, you see Adam is freaking out a little bit. You see that Addie is like trying to console Adam a little bit. What do you do?
Fall is in a very vulnerable position, I would say. Like what I have observed, like he's very, very weak, I could even say at the moment.
Yeah, he's not in there. He's not in there right now, but yeah, he is. Yeah.
So my main ambition, like, because I know how the situation, how it looks like, would be to catch him alone, to go out for a smoke with him. That's my main goal. If he's not available at the moment, then I could also imagine taking a second look at Zach at the moment, like, and following the others into whatever they are doing, because he has turned me on.
Yeah.
But Fall would be my main target.
To be clear, Adam is your treasure, right? That's
Adam is my treasure,
right.
yes.
Okay.
But to get my treasure, I need to work around it a little bit.
Okay.
So I first need to get proper control about this.
Yeah, so you just want to follow Fall out there then? So.
If I can get a hand on Fall still. Yes,
Shay's with him.
Yes.
You might have to get Shay out of the picture, but yeah. but you can go out there.
There are ways to freak people out enough that they go away from me.
Let's say you find Shay and Fall. Shay's having a cigarette, and Fall is, I don't know, breathing air into his lungs. I don't know whatever Fall's doing.
Yeah, I think that's a good assessment. Just like the cold air is going in and out, and he seems to be like loosening in posture and drinking it in.
What I try to do is I want to try to freak out Shay enough that he goes away, at least to have a cigarette together with Fall alone.
So what do you do?
So I pull the cigarette out of his hand and push it to the ground and say, this is a bad thing to smoke. And I put my own cigarettes out, which are black cigarettes. They're completely black. So these are much better to smoke if you can handle them. And I stare at Shay.
Roll shut someone down.
I will shut him down. And that's my first success with this character. It's a 9.
A 9, okay. You come across poorly. I'm going to give you a condition.
Yeah. I deserve it.
The condition he's going to give you is it's the conditions in quotes, and the condition he just looks at you and goes, "Really, bitch," and then he like turns around and then just leaves. That's your condition.
So like he knows what Julia's doing.
He knows that Julia's just being like I think he thinks like Julia's like being way too over the top here with her behavior, right? So
Right.
Yeah, with my flouncy dress and the thick boots and everything. It's just like,
Is it like combat boots or?
yes,
Yeah.
With steel caps in the front and everything, yeah. And then at the same time, this very feminine kind of dress. Right, that's my combination.
He says, "Fall." He's like, "I'll come by your house and get you for the party, okay?"
Yeah.
Great.
And he leaves.
Hey, Fall. You want to have one of these good cigarettes?
I don't smoke. If my parents smelled that on me, they would just, I don't know what they would do.
Well, your parents smell all kind of things on you.
Yeah, but not
It would.
cigarettes.
And then I get one of my tissues out, and quickly before you can react, I get your current smell because it's quite intense, and I somehow like it. Or do I just pretend? I don't know. What I want from you, I want you to enter one of my bargains, which is this special move where would I put smoke in your face, we could enter a very nice little bargain and talk around this a little bit.
So you like kind of sensually blow the smoke in my face, that kind of thing?
And that enters the move, yes.
Cool.
If you are willing to enter this bargain. Are you fine with that?
Sure. Yeah, let's see where it goes.
Think about it for a minute. I'm going to cut away, and we'll come back.
Yes. Take a deep breath in.
So back to Adam and Addie. Let's have that scene. Sorry, just frame it up right where you guys left.
Yeah. If I may.
Sure.
Changes a little bit. Like the reptilian part of her brain kicks in. She looks at him up and down, again with that sort of snakish eyeing you up, trying to see if she can fit you in her mouth. And like brush some of your tassel hair out of the way. I mean, are you really okay? Like, you look like you need a breather or a hug.
Is that a weaponized hug? Are you rolling turn someone on here?
Yeah. This is like business and business friends in her family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Turn someone on. Which is, I think that's at 11.
Nice. You get a string. And then you have to choose one from the list, Adam.
Okay.
And then do you want to pull that string like immediately to make Adam do something or try to get him to do something?
Yeah. I guess I'll see how Adam reacts first.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Hug.
Yeah, I guess I hesitate for a moment, and then I go in for the hug.
She'll like wrap her arms around you, maybe like a little bit too tight.
Like an anaconda or a python.
Yeah, it's kind of a at first stilted, touch-starved hug, but yeah.
And then she'll pull back and be like, maybe we could like talk about this like later. Like maybe you and I could. Maybe we could like go on a. Maybe you want to come to Chad's thing with me. I heard Chad's got a thing on. You could come with me.
Sure. I'm there.
Awesome.
Are you spending string to get? Did you? Or I guess you didn't have to spend the string. You just did.
I was going to if I had to, but it's so cool.
Awesome. You guys want more in that scene? Or
I think I'm good. Yeah.
Yep.
Zach. Zakuronas.
I think, yeah. Well, where did we leave off?
Oh, I'm giving you a vision. I was just winding up. Sorry.
Okay, that's what it was.
You're this sort of pall of deadness that hangs over you like a thick cloak. Presses out toward the window, pushes back the light, creates this grayness, like the movie Pleasantville almost, right? Like the color just kind of drains out in your mind's eye. And you find yourself like your consciousness is like expanding out your body, past the desk, out the window, past the street, past the buildings, into the tree line, into the woods that surround Mercy Falls. And you find yourself weaving in and out between the trees like a snake, but moving really, really fast. And you are just pressing forward through the forest into parts of the forest that don't even seem real. Like you feel like fundamentally they don't even belong. You don't know why. And you get to a space that is very, very old, a part of the forest that is impossibly old. As you get there, as your consciousness sort of like stretches into this space in this part of the forest, how do you know it's so old? Like, what do you see? What do you feel that lets you know that this is like something terribly ancient?
I think it's like looking at all that kind of like detritus on the forest floor, right? So there's it, right? Like you can tell that the floor, the ground is there isn't even dirt, right? There's just like layers of rotting, leaves, and you can kind of like feel it melding over, a full foot, layer after layer after layer, and finally it turns into dirt somewhere way down there. But it's just been, it's just been collecting for feels like centuries.
Stretching out in front of you, gaping wide like a mouth. Snake's mouth. Inky black. There's a hole in the ground, a cave. And that blackness, it overpowers your your darkness and subsumes you. And so you just find yourself in this vast inky black space, a little bit like 11 in Stranger Things, right? This inky blackness where all you hear is just your heartbeat, whatever qualifies as your heart, right? And you hear this sound that sounds like it's about 100 paces away. It's a sort of like and then it gets a little closer. And then a little closer and louder. And whatever it is, you can feel its breath, like right on the tip of your nose. You snap out of it.
I like to think at this point I'm like on the ground, my knees are to my chest, like I'm holding my hands on my ears, and just like tears streaming down my
Indeed. Let's take a break.
face.
2 minutes.
Here we go. What happens there, dear ghoul?
Oof.
I am sure you are calling these things. They have something to do with you.
I think there's a part of me that wants to feel this again, even though it's kind of like when you know there's something that'll make you cry, but you want to feel it,
Mhm.
Like I want to feel that fear again, even though it's not that it'll make me happy. I mean, I'm going to be scared shitless, but I want to feel it, right? Other stuff, right? I think that's part of my problem is like I'm not feeling other emotions. Like I'm enjoying the fear, and when I'm not feeling the fear, from somebody else or from myself, then I'm not feeling anything.
I know what your problem is, yes. And I would be willing to
I
feed
bet
you.
you do.
I would be so willing to feed you. So why do you look for other sources? Sources which could endanger us all. I think you're a troublemaker. And you should be very careful about if you one day have to pay the price. What you're doing. Come to me and feed from me.
Speaking of trouble, Julia, oh man, it's a good offer for you. You don't want to turn it down.
Ooh.
Do you?
Yeah.
Snake.
And I can't. So at some point, I totally want a scene with you for this really good offer I have, because I think it's going to be fun.
The serpentine and the worm.
Yeah. We need to have a summit in the smoke place.
Yes. Yeah, I can see us enlightening a large fire. A fire everybody will be able to see. Yes.
It's going to be awesome.
Who will burn on the fire? That is the question, which is still open to me.
I'll have to wait and find out. I'm excited about this. This is going to be so good.
You don't have to burn someone.
Oh, Adam. So good to see you. Alive.
I think someone always has to burn.
Well, you can't consume something which is burning for too long on the fire, right, Google? I should just continue calling you a troublemaker. Snake people. Hollow ones.
Okay. Let's do our bargain. So, how's that scene go? How's it progress?
Yeah, we were talking a little bit about it, so it'll be faster. But I like the idea of Julia taking all of my strings on Adam. And the way that I get entranced to do this is I like the idea of Julia knowing that I somehow have this fascination with the Force, or something about that. And maybe like as I'm not really interested in Julia, you have a capsule of the forest and you release it, and then I breathe it in, and it's like I'm in the forest, and it's like I'm running and I'm doing like parkour and I'm free in the forest, right? And I like the juxtaposition of me feeling like I'm free while you're stripping those strings from me for Adam, right? And I guess what that looks like visually is me telling you the things that I know about Adam without even realizing it, because I'm in this trance, right?
Yeah, I mean, I have been in this trance before, and what you have to recognize is it's all black and white, which must hurt for somebody who loves the forest so much as you do. But this is not the forest, but that's just one dimension of the forest. It's the smell I have with me. Right. But I'm on your back while you're running through the forest. As long as we're in this trance together, I'm not too heavy, but I'm sitting on your back, and I'm enjoying seeing the world from your position. I'm enjoying to feel the power which lies in your body, and I enjoy especially feeling how much power you have over Adam, my treasure. So I think you are very generous, and I think you can have your smell, and I get the 4 strings. That sounds like a good deal for me.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, so I get the capsule, right, and then for the 4 strings, what I tell you is that Adam tells lies I believe, was one of them. Two of them, and the other two was Adam ridiculed me as well. So like I could tell that Adam picked up on what other people were doing and ridiculed me in that way. Like it was a thing that he was doing because other people were doing it.
Yes.
But then you also have a little bit of power over him because of the Musk too, though, right? Like that.
Oh yeah.
So I also take a capsule of that Musk.
a little bit of Musk to go. Good.
I have my little fall with me every time from now on.
Nice. Good. Okay, well, let's just figure out where we go from here then. Everyone has kind of like gotten done what they want to get when they wanted to get done. Addie got Adam to agree. Addie and Adam, that's too cute. Got an agreement between them to go to Chad's. Fall's going to be going with Shay. Nevertheless, assuming that you're going to wait for Coach DeVry to come back and say what's going on or whatever, that never happens. You guys, you wander to the cafeteria at some point, get your lunch. They have bag lunches set out for you there because there's nobody else around. Doesn't seem like Coach DeVry is coming back. I'll just ask each of you going around the table, just find out, what do you want to do? Adam, what do you want to do? Coach DeVry's not coming back.
I'm not a good first person to ask because I will.
That's a good point. I know. Yeah. Well, that's why I asked, though. So, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, kind of. I didn't get why he left, but he's kind of an asshole. Like, I thought I was on drugs. I'm. Yeah, I could just leave probably. So, yeah, if this gets too boring, maybe I'll stop by the chemistry lab and get a bottle of ether. And I will do that because if people already assume I'm taking drugs, why not bring something to the party?
Exactly. Addie, what about you? Coach DeVry's not coming back.
Adeline would love to have lunch with Julia.
Good.
Track down Julia and have a chat with Julia.
I think that's a great idea. Julia, are you cool with that? Okay. Zach,
Is this
love talking with snake people.
I think Zach's overheard that people are going to Chad's thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, again, Zach is feeling like there isn't anything without, there's no emotions without the fear. The fear is what's driving everything that Zach's enjoying, whether it's that's making them feel scared or emotions like desire or whatever. And so I think Zach's just going to be totally mellow and on their own and eat and just sit down and stare into the distance and just plan to go to Chad's party, even though nobody's invited them. Nobody's, just show up. Scares them too, because, it's a party and they're four awkward people.
In one. Fall, what do you do for the rest of the day?
I think he would. I don't know. I'm kind of debating on if he would be the goody two shoes that would call his parents, right? And rat out DeVry and be like, "Yo, we're just sitting here alone."
Right.
And yeah, I think he would. I think he would do that, especially because he knows that the sooner he goes home, the sooner he's in his forest, right?
Let's have that conversation. Your mom picks up. She's like, "Hello,
hey, Mom.
Honey, what's going on? Are you having a good time at detention?"
No, detention's weird because only a little while in, an hour in or something, DeVry got a phone call.
Oh yeah.
And I don't say that it's from his wife, even though I know that because I shouldn't know that. And yeah, he like left. He said he would be back in 30 minutes, and it's been like an hour or whatever, and he's still not home.
It's actually been like probably 3 hours at this point. Yeah.
It's been 3 hours, and he's still not in the classroom. So we don't know what to do.
So he just left you there by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It
I hope
must have
nothing
been-
serious is going on.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe you could come pick us up if we're. I think detention might be over.
Yeah. I'm. Yes, it is definitely over. This is unacceptable. Just to leave you kids like that by yourselves. Anything could happen. I'll be there. I'll be there in about 20 minutes, hon.
Okay. Can Shay come over too?
Oh yeah, sure. How is Shay?
Shay's great. It was really good spending some time with him today.
Well, it's too bad that it took detention to do it, but the Lord works in mysterious ways. So
Yeah, he gets like all quiet voice, and he's like, "I think we're back to being good friends."
he's like, "Oh, she's, honey, that's so good. I'm so happy to hear that." She's like, "I'll be there in 20 minutes."
Awesome.
And let's have our little lunch scene with Julia and Adeline. Where do you guys eat?
I would love to eat lizards, but people don't eat lizards here.
Where in the school though? Do you eat like just there in the central room where everybody's at, or do you go somewhere private, or what?
Your choice, Evelyn.
What was that, Garrett?
Your choice.
Oh, yeah, I would like to take you somewhere quiet so we can have a chat.
Mhm.
The multimedia club room.
Oh yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
So you're like in the dark AV room, like just
Just having lunch.
That's I think it's like that. I like to say it's like that, like when you're developing film, like the red light room, like where film is being developed. It's that kind of
Ah,
thing.
yes.
Exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah.
And
I like the smell here.
Indeed.
It does like acetone smell to it. And you can tell Adeline is kind of agreeing with you for the sake of agreeing. She thinks it smells kind of terrible, actually.
I don't recognize.
Hey, so if you know, but Adam's kind of going with me to Chad's.
Yes.
But I mean, and I kind of get the feeling that you kind of like him too. And I think you can tell Adeline's just snapped into this completely other Adeline's talking a lot more confidently and a lot more closely to you. Says,
Yeah.
maybe she even leans a little bit closer and she says, "Fine, if you went with him. I mean, I could maybe talk to him. I kind of need something from you in exchange."
I'm very open to exchanges. I swallow hard on the noodle I'm eating.
She tucks a lock of hair behind her ear and bats her lashes at you a little bit and says, "A bit weird, but
It is.
I would really love a lock of your hair."
What?
Point of order. You need great big handfuls of it for Aunt Evelyn.
Oh, okay.
Like a big, like a haircut level.
Excellent.
Oh, and I already have short hair. I dyed it black. Maybe it's time for another color when I grow it back. But wait, what are we talking about? You want my hair?
I know it does sound kind of strange, but I agree. I think that look would look really good on you.
Bold.
Hey, would you let me
Like
cut
really
your
cool.
hair?
What do you want with my hair?
That's the secret that you're gonna have to find out.
What's in for me?
What's in it for you is I can hook you up with Adam. He's special to you.
Yes. All right, but what about first hooking up and then you get my hair?
Well, we have some spare time now. I mean, we could just go into like the girls' bathroom and
I think you should put something more on it
yeah.
to get it now. What else do you have to offer?
I'll make sure that time with Adam that he'll be yours for a long time.
All right, let's do it.
Indeed.
I trust you because you're adolescent and we have spent a lot of time together, ignoring each other. As it seems.
I feel like you and I are very similar.
In many dimensions. And then
So you
get the last noodles.
So you're gonna go to the bathroom? Are you going to the girls' room to shave her hair right now? Is that what's going on?
I think so, yeah.
I think, why don't we do it directly here? Nobody will come in here.
and assuming you don't have clippers handy, you're just gonna be just a scissor job.
Yeah, like the film scissors and
exactly, film cutting scissors.
Yeah, you are doing the best haircuts in the dark.
Yes, and rest pieces of my hair shall be everywhere. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's so creepy.
Do we want to suggest this is intimate enough to trigger sex moves here?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Read through your sex moves. I'll cut back to it in a minute. I have to grab my power cord from my computer real fast. So 1 second.
I'm so sorry. That was so creepy.
I'm so happy. It was so creepy.
It was great.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So, in both Monsterhearts games I played with Garrett, his character gets his head shaved. My queen also forced him to get a haircut to join the gang.
True. Oh
That's
my
amazing.
God.
Also, like, I have audio. I have no idea how anyone's reacting to this.
Wait, what'd you say, Lauren?
I've gone onto audio only for everyone, so I was like, I have no idea if anyone's reacting to this.
Oh, you can't see us or anything?
Yeah.
No.
we were intimate.
Yeah, I was there just like with my freaking cringing the whole time. It was a creepy scene.
Good.
Okay, good. Yeah, think about your sex moves, look at them, we'll figure out how they fire off. We'll come back to it in a minute. Adam, you just left. Where'd you go?
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to the chemistry room and finding a bottle of ether, and then I think I go back to Zach.
Okay, sure. And I think, but when you get back, I think it's like just Zach. I think like Fall and Shay are maybe like off doing, talking about, I don't know, what would they have been talking about in '83? Garbage Pail Kids or something? I don't know. Whatever was going on then. And I was about to say Pokemon, but that's like 15 years too early. So, yeah. So it's probably just Zach like sitting there waiting for the day to be over. Have that scene. Go for it.
Yep. So I'm just standing there awkward for just a little too long before walking over to Zach's table and then kind of sitting down. So Hey.
I think Zach's just doodling, right? Like just drawing on paper.
Uh,
Oh my God, can we say you're drawing a spiral? That'd be so great.
Oh, yes. Spirals.
Oh, Zach. Why do you have to be such a creepy asshole to everyone all the time?
I look up to you with a little bit of shock, almost like, what did I do?
Like, I mean, Robbie, that his friends died in a car accident, and you're doing this whole car noise thing. I mean, why?
I mean, he's kind of a dick, right?
Yeah, sure, he might be, but like, why? What are you getting out of this?
I just want him to feel what the rest of us feel. You should understand that, right?
Like, sure, but if you wouldn't be so weird all the time, maybe you wouldn't have to be like, people wouldn't be assholes to you. Like, I get along with a lot of people just by not sticking out. Like,
People are assholes because they're assholes. I didn't draw that in. That's just who they are. So sometimes you have to show them how it is. That's all.
yeah.
I didn't invite that. Back before, Zed didn't invite that. Akuji didn't invite that. Sharona didn't invite that. And Silas didn't invite that. It's not my fault.
It's not your fault, but you can't pretend like it's be.
I'm gonna start laughing out loud. I'm like, what? I can't pretend? I'm like pointing it at Adam.
Yeah, I'm
who's
saying
always pretending.
Yeah, I'm saying you can you could just put in some effort.
And just what? Just act like they act? Is that how it's done?
Yeah, that's how people work.
I'm gonna interject momentarily.
Yeah.
I'm going to pushing on your drug fiend condition a little bit, in the sense that, like, this happened when you were there, being in that room, being accused of being a drug fiend. I think that's when you're probably going to notice Zach drawing the spiral on his notebook.
Yeah.
And you're going to have some little flashbacks from, like, your time with the stag face mask guy. Give me a keeper call.
I love that idea. Like, this whole conversation is going on, and then there's just like that looking down and seeing spirals. That's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
What are you afraid will happen once you see that spiral? How might you react that you want to avoid?
Yeah, I'm kind of afraid that Zach is in on the whatever creepy spiral stuff is going on.
Exactly,
like,
right,
if that's like a secret thing that people are doing, I'm not involved in.
I heard my favorite word, afraid.
What you got?
I'm always throwing keep you cool, which is my worst.
Yeah, Adam is definitely like our damsel in distress for this.
Yeah,
for this session.
Yeah, it's a force, so conditions don't matter.
Mark another XP.
Yeah, I do that.
Yeah, so I think you're gonna see that spiral, and you're gonna like, you'll probably have some suspicions of Zach. I think, like, as soon as you're like seeing this and you're having this moment like this, like, what the fuck is going on? You hear a scream coming from somewhere deeper in the building. A loud scream of a young man. What do you do?
What? Did you hear that?
Yeah, you definitely both heard it.
I hear it, but I'm still like, I'm noticing that that Adam's looking at the paper now and kind of freaking out. And so I'm being a little bit more deliberate, but continuing to draw my spiral.
Yo, Zach, come, like that. Someone might be hurt.
Every time he's hesitating, I kind of draw more of the spiral.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst game of Hangman.
But I finish it. I finish that spiral and drop the pencil, and I get up. I'll follow Adam wherever he goes.
Yep.
Scream.
Yep.
Everyone would have heard the scream. Fall. Addie. Julia. You all heard the scream. Let's take care of sex moves first, and then we'll deal with that. Julia, what's your sex move?
My sex move is that after sex, ask what they'd like and promise you'll get it for them. Gain 2 strings on them. So what do you like, Adelind? And I promise you, I will get it for you.
Is your hair like too obvious?
Maybe something more, right? Like, yeah.
I think
yeah.
This all became pretty passionate. So at least for me, maybe it's because the room is hot, but I'm sweating a lot now. Yeah, just imagine.
I promise you, it's not just the heat. Maybe I would like you to promise me that this will just stay between the two of us.
It for sure will. We are family. But I will, whenever somebody will find out, then I will take measures necessary to keep it still a secret. It's not that easy as it sounds.
Yeah, it's good.
I will take care of family business from now on. Don't worry. Right?
Yeah, it's a total one of us moment. Yeah, it's good. What is your sex move, Addie?
If your family learns that you've had sex with someone, that person becomes part of your family's failing dynasty. Add the move to the sheet. We are family.
Oh, you're breaking up just a little bit, Lauren. Go back again.
Your family learns that you've had sex. That person becomes part of your dynasty. Do they add the move to their sheet?
They get the failing dynasty move. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, but it's only when they learn of this, though.
Yes.
True.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And they may.
They will.
Yeah, they may. Good.
Then we have the scream.
And then you hear the scream. What do you do when you hear the scream?
Get my clothes off, on again, not off, on again, and rush down, right?
Awesome. Fall, you hear the scream. What do you do?
Yeah, I definitely look towards it and then probably run towards it as well. Like maybe I could give a look to Shay.
Lauren, you're roboting. Maybe just rejoin the call. Yeah, you're breaking up pretty bad. Say that again, Fall. What would you do?
Oh, I would look towards the noise, and if Shay was around, look at him to see what he does, and probably run towards it.
Yeah, Shay will run toward it.
Yeah.
And,
especially since we're rangers.
Yeah, and Zach, it sounded like you and Adam were going to go check it out, right?
Yeah, I'll even
It sounded like you were more casual, but
I'll be very casual about it, but I'll grab Adam's hand and kind of lead him that direction, unless he's going faster than me.
No, but I'm kind of surprised by that gesture, but yeah, I'm not pulling my hand away. But I'm holding yours and I'm following.
My hand is very cold.
Indeed. You are all. I'll give Lauren a minute to come back. Let's just take like a 1 minute break while we wait on Lauren. Okay.
Sounds good. This is so good.
Yeah, this game doesn't have breaks for me.
Yeah.
This is just breathless.
I took Lauren's advice of making a little soundtrack, so it's just playing in the background like the whole time.
Yeah,
Like
awesome.
like at a lower volume. Oh, it's so good.
yeah. I deliberately didn't do it because my character probably has no taste in music. Like, just I turn on the radio and there are songs, and I don't own a record player. And, yeah.
You mean like a Walkman without the stabilizer technology, probably? A Walkman that you can't walk with.
Yeah.
I still remember that for CDs when I was just like, why? I can't even walk with this. Why do I have it? And then they came out with that technology and it was still like barely okay.
Yeah, bus rides. That's what you have it for.
Yeah, well, and it would like scrape up the disc sometimes too, because you're still bouncing around and stuff too. Like,
Yep. Yep.
Lauren, are you back?
Lauren. We can't hear you.
She came back, but can't hear her. Oh, she muted now. Garrett. Laura, but can you say something, Lauren, so we can see if you're roboting?
How does this sound?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. You just have to be able to hear us at this point anyway, because we're just about done. So, no worries, it's fine. So you all hear the scream, and in your own ways, you all are going to where you heard the scream. This young man screaming. You all kind of converge, coming from your different directions, right? You all kind of converge on this big empty school hallway with lockers on either side, right? And because it's the weekend, all the lights are off, right? There's just basically just like a couple of illuminated exit signs, right? And maybe just a little bit of ambient light coming in from a distant window. But otherwise, the corridor is just very, very dim. And you're all together, and you're all kind of like making your way in the direction that you heard the scream come from. And you begin to feel something slippery and slick beneath your feet, beneath your tennis shoes. And you look down to realize that there is a trail of blood coming from underneath the boys' bathroom door. And assuming that you press forward, do I want to trigger Keeper Cools here? No, I don't want to. We'll just roll it. You have the group courage, right? As you all press forward and you open the bathroom door, you see Robbie laying out on the floor of the boys' bathroom door. He's very tall, so he actually takes up most of the space. He's there. His shirt is removed. He's not moving. He's laying in a pool of his own blood, and he has a deep, deep, gouged spiral in his chest, cut really deep, like just bleeding out. And that's where we end the session.
Yeah.
Right after everybody looks at Zach. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'm totally looking down at where my hand is holding Zach's hand.
Yeah, you've got the spiral.
There's the spiral on my arm.
Zach, you've got a spiral on your body. Zach just drew one in his notebook. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
I think
good.
Can you all do me a very little favor, and can we all do the sound our characters make at the moment we see that together at the same time? Because we are all muted in the moment, and I think we all breathed out heavily at the moment when Jason was speaking, and we couldn't hear each other. So, if that is okay for you, then
on count of three.
Yes, on count of three, like
1, 2, 3.
What the fuck?
Good. I'll be on debrief in a couple minutes if you guys want to debrief. Okay. On Discord.
Yeah, that sounds good.